it. When I bought 94 acres outside Flagstaff, Arizona, I thought I had finally left homeowner associations behind for good. I had spent nearly 30 years as a civil engineer, and if that career taught me anything, it was that land doesn't care about opinions. Survey monuments don't move because someone complains. Deeds don't change because a committee votes. Property belongs to whoever can prove it on paper. That belief was exactly why I had checked everything before signing a single document. The recorded deed, the title report, music, the county parcel map, the GIS overlays, the survey filed with Coconino County. I even walked the boundary with the surveyor before closing. 94 acres of high desert, scattered juniper, sandstone outcroppings, and enough open country that you could stand on one ridge and never see another roof. Most importantly, it sat completely outside every HOA boundary. That wasn't luck. That was the reason I bought it. Greater than Laura understood that better than anyone. After 15 years of receiving violation letters because our mailbox leaned too in, greater than our fence stain wasn't on the approved list or my pickup stayed in the driveway overnight after hauling supplies. We'd both had enough. Greater than we're done asking permission to live. She'd told me when we signed the closing papers. Greater than she was right. We weren't buying luxury. Greater than we were buying freedom. The morning after we arrived, I stood beside the old ranch gate holding a coffee mug while Laura unpacked boxes from the truck. The Arizona air carried the smell of dry cedar and dust. Somewhere across the property, our portable windmill squeaked softly as it turned. Beyond it stretched empty ridges that belonged to nobody but us. Laura stepped beside me and smiled. I don't hear traffic. You won't. I don't hear leaf blowers. Nope. She looked toward the horizon. I don't hear neighbors. I laughed. That's because the closest one is nearly a mile away. She slipped her hand into mine. Mine. I think we finally made it. For the first time in years, I believed it, too. We spent the morning unloading equipment. Generator, water tank, camping trailer, survey stakes, construction tools. I planned to build the ranch house myself over the next year, just the way I designed it. No committee, no architectural review board, no approval letters, only county permits. Exactly the way property ownership was supposed to work. Around mid-morning, I walked toward the western fence line carrying a bundle of steel tios. Near an old cedar stump, something metallic caught my eye. Half buried beneath years of dirt, lay a weathered steel sign. I brushed enough sand away to read what remained. Subdivision Expansion Zone. Do not remove. The lettering had almost disappeared beneath rust. Greater than probably some abandoned developer dream from years ago. Arizona was full of projects that never got built. I snapped a picture with my phone, mostly because old engineering habits die hard. Then I tossed the dirt back over it and kept walking. 10 minutes later, I heard an engine. Not slow, not cautious, fast. The sound echoed across the ranch before I ever saw the vehicle. A white SUV burst over the ridge, throwing a wall of dust behind it. It never slowed until it skidded to a stop less than 30 feet from my truck. The driver's door flew open. A woman stepped out wearing pressed khaki slacks, polished brown boots, oversized sunglasses, and the kind of confidence that usually belonged to people who never expected anyone to question them. Two men climbed out behind her. Gray uniforms, black tactical boots, matching radios, no law enforcement badges, no company logos, just blank uniforms. Neither man smiled. The woman marched directly toward me. No greeting, no introduction, no questions. She unfolded a laminated map and shoved it against my chest hard enough that I had to catch it before it hit the ground. Greater than, you're trespassing, she said. Her voice wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. This property falls under Red Canyon Estates' HOA jurisdiction. You have 15 minutes to vacate. I looked down at the map. Bright colored lines, artificial boundary extensions. None of them matched anything I'd reviewed before buying the ranch. Greater than I folded it once and handed it back. Greater than I think you've got the wrong parcel. Greater than I don't. I bought this ranch 3 weeks ago. She folded her arms. Then someone sold you land they didn't own. I almost smiled. Not because it was funny, because it was impossible. My name's Ethan Walker. I know exactly who you are. That answer bothered me. She already knew my name. She already knew I'd arrived. She had been expecting me. I walked to my truck, opened the driver's door, and removed the blue document binder I'd kept beside me since closing day. Inside sat certified copies of everything. I handed her the recorded deed, the survey, the county parcel map, the title report. She never looked, not even once. Instead, she shoved the binder back toward me. You brought the wrong paperwork. I brought the county records. Our Phase 4 expansion supersedes those. I stared at her. That's not how property law works. It is here. One of the gray uniformed men started walking toward my generator. The other moved closer to Laura, who had quietly stepped away from the trailer. I raised my hand. Don't. The guard kept walking. If either one of you touches my equipment, I said calmly, you're going to have a trespassing problem. The woman removed her sunglasses. My name is Diane Holloway. There wasn't a trace of doubt in her voice. I'm president of Red Canyon Estates HOA. She pulled out her phone. You've refused lawful removal. Her thumb tapped the screen. I'm calling the sheriff. She never read the deed. She never asked where my property line actually was. She simply called law enforcement as though ownership could be decided by whoever dialed first. As Laura quietly squeezed my arm, I looked down the long dirt road leading toward the county highway. A faint cloud of dust was already rising in the distance. Someone was coming, and for the first time since buying the ranch, I realized this wasn't a misunderstanding. It felt like the opening move of a plan that had started long before I ever arrived. The growing cloud of dust resolved into a county sheriff's patrol truck. It rolled through my open gate and stopped between my pickup and Diane Holloway's SUV. The deputy climbed out slowly, resting one hand on his duty belt as he took in the scene. My camping trailer, Laura standing beside it, two gray uniformed security men and Diane waiting with the confidence of someone expecting to win. Morning, he said. I'm Sheriff Daniel Brooks who called this in. Greater than I did. Diane answered before anyone else could speak. Greater than this man is trespassing on Red Canyon Estates property and refusing lawful removal. Sheriff Brooks looked at me. My name's Ethan Walker. I own this ranch. Diane let out a short laugh. Hey, he thinks he does. The sheriff didn't react. Instead, he held out his hand. Mr. Walker, may I see your paperwork? I walked to my truck, removed the blue binder, and handed it over. He opened it carefully. Unlike Diane, he actually read. His eyes moved from the recorded deed to the legal description. Then he unfolded the certified survey before comparing it with the county parcel map. The only sound was the wind pushing dust across the ranch road. Finally, he pulled a county GIS map up on the computer inside his patrol truck. I watched him zoom in layer by layer, comparing property boundaries against the documents in my binder. Greater than are you greater than Diane crossed her arms impatiently? That map you're looking at is outdated. Greater than Sheriff Brooks didn't answer. Greater than he zoomed farther, then farther again. Greater than after another minute, he climbed back out, closed the binder, and handed it to me. Mr. Walker's parcel is recorded exactly where his deed says it is. Greater than Diane stepped forward. Greater than you're looking at the wrong jurisdiction. Greater than no, ma'am. Our Phase 4 expansion includes this property. The sheriff looked directly at her. Greater than I don't see any Phase 4. Greater than she reached into her SUV and produced the laminated map she'd thrown at me earlier. This is the current HOA boundary. Greater than Sheriff Brooks studied it for several seconds. Then his eyebrows narrowed. Where did this come from? Our association records. I asked where it came from. Our engineering committee. He turned the map over. No county seal, no recording information, no survey certification. Nothing. He handed it back. This isn't a recorded property map. It doesn't have to be. Actually, he said calmly. When you're claiming ownership over private land, it does. For the first time, Diane hesitated only for a second. Then she pointed toward my trailer. He has unauthorized structures. They're on his property. He hasn't submitted architectural approval. Greater than he doesn't belong to your HOA. Greater than one of the gray uniformed guards spoke up. Greater than so, we're just supposed to leave. Sheriff Brooks looked at him. Unless you have documentation showing ownership of this parcel. Yes. The guard glanced toward Diane. She gave the slightest shake of her head. Neither man moved. Greater than the sheriff's voice hardened. I'll say it one more time. All right. Greater than you have no legal authority to remain on this ranch against the owner's wishes. That word landed harder than anything else, he'd said. Owner. Diane took off her sunglasses again. You've made a mistake, Sheriff. If I have, you're welcome to challenge it through the courts. She stared at him for several long seconds before turning toward her security men. Oh, we're leaving. As they climbed into the SUV, she stopped beside my truck. This isn't finished, Mr. Walker. I met her eyes. I didn't think it was. The convoy disappeared in another cloud of dust. Sheriff Brooks waited until they were gone before speaking again. Greater than isn't over. Greater than I'd keep every document you have. I plan to. I've seen property disputes before. He glanced toward the fading tire tracks, but I've never seen someone claim 94 acres without a recorded easement. He handed me a business card. If they come back, call me before you argue with anyone. After he drove away, Laura finally exhaled. I thought that was over. I wanted to believe she was right. 3 days later, a certified envelope arrived. Inside were 12 separate HOA violation notices: unauthorized dwelling, improper generator installation, architectural non-compliance, unapproved fencing, failure to obtain design review. Total amount due, $8.30. Attached behind the fines was another copy of Diane's boundary map. This time, I studied it carefully. Bright red lines pushed nearly a mile beyond Red Canyon Estates. One corner crossed my ranch. Another crossed a county drainage corridor. The western edge stretched directly into public land. Then I noticed something else. The boundary markers printed along the map didn't match the survey monuments I'd walked before buying the property. Not one of them. That evening, I drove to the home of retired county surveyor Frank Sullivan. He spread my certified survey beside Diane's map under a desk lamp. For nearly 5 minutes, he didn't say a word. Then he quietly slid one finger across the wall map. See this corner marker?